beaver type lure. I'm using the Pro Model jig, Denny Brower Pro Model jig, and a Spread King Road beaver type bait. Again, I'm tying it to this 25-pound fluorocarbon line, heavy line. Give me a minute. Right here. Ready to go. Boom. Now, the thing about this bait right here, this thing is a bomb, okay? It's gonna go right where they live and right in the living room, right? Basically, it's gonna go right at them. See that, Timmy? That's 3D. 3D right there. All right. I'm gonna pitch and flip with this bait, okay? This is a long rod, a lot of leverage on it, okay? I can actually pick up, put it exactly where I want to put it, all right? Right in the area. That's my stump field over there, okay? You can do it like that, that's old-fashioned pitching, or simply just let the bait pendulum out and put it where you want it. You want it to enter the water silently. This is stealth panther-like fishing, okay? You're creeping up on these fish. You're creeping on them. That's what you're doing. This bait will get in the nastiest, thickest stuff. Those branches and that stuff you're talking about, man, that heavy bait gets right in there, okay, and goes right into their living room. There's some rattles on this one, and further draw them out of that heavy cover. One of my favorite big fish baits. I can't tell you how many big fish that I've caught on this flipping jig, okay? A flipping jig flat out catches big fish. You might not get as many bites on this big bulky bait, but it's gonna catch me.
How do you retrieve it?
How do I retrieve it? Excellent question. Here's my retrieve. Boom, let it sink to the bottom, reel it in, make another cast. Boom, I'm target fishing, okay? I'm pretty much, this is a whole stump road, or that's a tree, or those are logs, or rocks, or those are lily pads. I'm target fishing around each one of those objects. I'm making lots of casts. This is a high-speed reel. This is an 8-to-1 retrieve ratio. It's bringing in about 33 inches of line every time I turn this reel in. It's quick, okay? If I make a bad pitch, I can take it right back before it even hits the water. By the time I grab it in my hand, flip it out there, okay? And the deal with this long rod, here's what it is. Careful with that. Wrap that around there. You good? All right. Now I've just made a pitch. All right. I've just pitched into the cover. Okay. And I get bit. What I'm doing is dragging through something now. Whoops. All right. Let's try that again. All right. I pitched in there. Just got bit. Boom. I'm loading on that fish. Just like that. Okay. This long rod is pretty much allowing me. This is not for sport fishing. Okay, this is not ultralight fishing if you want to play with the fish. This is stick them, horse them, get them in the boat, put them back in the water. That's what it's all about.
Telescopic at the base there?
This is telescopic at the base because it's 8 foot long, and in a lot of rod boxes, in bass boats, they don't accommodate a full 8 foot. They'll accommodate 7.5 feet, but these rods here are 8 foot, and they're telescopic just for that purpose. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of flipping sticks traditionally have the telescopic blank.
Okay.
That's what they do.
Glass rod too?
This is not a glass rod. This is a graphite rod. It's actually a low modulus graphite rod. A lot of your flipping sticks or your regular bass casting rods today are a high modulus. You hear people talking about 30-ton graphite, 60-ton graphite, 54 million modulus graphite. Okay, I'm still old school. When I'm fishing up close, you got that? You got it good? Okay. When I'm up close and personal, I don't want that brittle graphite. I want something that's a little lower content, and I know that when I put the heat on that fish, this thing's not going to blow up on me. All right. Now, is it as sensitive as a lot of the high content, high modulus graphite rods that are on the market right now? No, they're not. They're not. Okay. But here's the deal. When I'm flipping, I'm watching that line. Let's say I made a pitch, right? A lot of times before you even feel a strike, Ben, pretend that your hand's a fish. What's it going to do? It just moves a little bit. It pops off to the side. Ooh, my line's moving. Look at that, you know why? Because I got a fish, and I pop them. Be a line watcher. If you're fishing any drop, drag, or jig lure, okay? Any bait that's dropping, watch it. Crankbait, that's pretty much no-brainer. You're reeling it, you're gonna feel it when they nab that thing, right? Now this bait, I got bait. This bait right here, as in any drop, drag, or hop, let's call it hop lure. Watch your line, because that's the telltale sign. Now at night we can't do that, that's another story, unless you use that glowing stuff and get one of them glow lights. But here's another trick. You asked me about the retrieve of this bait, and maybe I was a little too quick to jump at the answer. But after I make that fish, a lot of times I'm not just gonna let, you know, if they're active, you're not gonna need to do much, but sometimes you gotta force feed them, okay? And a lot of times I'll shake that thing in there a little bit. I'll shake it, all right? And then sometimes I'll pop it right out of there real quick. Right back to the seal and the great white principle. Have you ever watched crawdads in the water? Okay? Crawdads skid across the water, right? They kind of just skid across, right? But then when they get injured or they're in a hurry, you ever see how they tuck their tail in and boogie backwards out of the way? Bass can't stand that. Bass cannot stand that when that happens. 9 out of 10 times, or let's say 9.7 out of 10 times, if a bass sees a bait doing that, a crawdad, it's going to eat it every time. Every time. All right, any questions on flipping a jig? Yes, sir.
Basically, when you drop that thing out there, and a bass grabs it, if you don't do something, if you're sitting there waiting and wondering for the bass on, he's liable to spit it out.
You're done. You're
So
done.
do you move it immediately, or?
If I think I'm getting bit, even if I'm not sure, if something just feels a little bit different, okay, I'm gonna cross her eyes, man.
So you do take the slack out of
Oh
it?
yeah, I take the slack out and I just jack it. Yep, no doubt about it. I mean, any little subtlety that you might feel. And remember, most of the time you're around cover. And that's why I'm using this 25-pound line too, okay? I can't use 4 and 6 and 8-pound line because I'm gonna snap the line. I'm gonna flat out snap it, all right? If I'm in that cover, you got that? All right, if I'm in that cover and that bait's down in there and my bait feels a little heavy or a little mushy or the lines seem to move a little to the direction, boom, I'm gonna hit them. I'm crossing them, man. I'm crossing them. And that puts the heat, that snaps the line out of the cover, and that hook goes right up, and you want it hooked in the top of the jaw. That's where you want it every time. Yes, flip it. Yes, sir.
That's heavy action rod.
This rod is considered a heavy moderate, okay? A lot of times you see in fishing rods these days, there's different actions. There's fast, moderate fast, extra fast, and moderate, okay? I still prefer a moderate or a parabolic type action. And what that means is that basically the rod, a fast action rod, the rod's gonna basically load up at the top 20% of the tip, okay? The top 20% of that rod, that's a fast action rod, okay? These rods that I'm using, I prefer a parabolic or a moderate action rod. It's a progressive parabolic action, which absorbs shock for the type of fishing I do. But again, it's whatever works for you, okay? A fast action flipping stick might work for you. But when you're up close and personal, I like that moderate action because, again, it's not going to tear a hole in the fish's mouth. When you're putting that much heat on them, you still want this leverage to move the fish, but you don't want to rip the hook out, okay? That moderate action absorbs it like a sponge.
I feel like you're farther away than you want.
Yes, sir? What?
If you're farther away distance from the fish, you're not faster.
A faster action, yeah, that might work, but then again, I find that this is my happy medium right here because there's another crucial element that you overlook. You might be making a far pitch, right? Okay, it might not be just as close as hitting this log right here. You know, you might have to make a further pitch way out there. And when you set the hook, yeah, first of all, you got the leverage. That's going to take up the slack. It's going to load up the rod. But now your question with the fast action rod, when this rod when the fish gets close to the boat, okay, and you got a fast action rod, that means it's a faster recovery for the rod. The goes back into place real quick, right? That's fast action. This rod, the fish is next to the boat, but my rod is still absorbing the shock of the fish. It's a tool that's going to help you land more fish. I'm a big believer in parabolic action on a rod. Yes, sir.
I noticed you're talking about everything fast. What happened to light, medium, and heavy?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, basically they're all different tools. You know, I'm talking about actions, not powers. Light, medium, and heavy are powers. Actions are moderate, fast, and extra fast. Okay?
It's also today's law.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Medium light still exists. Medium still exists. Ultra light still exists. Yeah, that's it, absolutely. And I'm talking actions of rods. And dialing in your tools for bass fishing, actions of rods are everything. That's what's going to help you with the best tools.
And when that guy goes under the boat, that thing's going to bend in half.
You're exactly right. It's putting heat on the fish. I want that. Yeah, I want that. I want that to happen. I don't want it to be too stiff.
Your boat, boy,
Oh, they're done. They get all crazy wild, don't they? That's what happens. Okay, any more questions on flipping a jig?
What do you think about spider wire?
Spider wire is awesome, okay?
It never breaks, I know that.
It never breaks. And if I'm fishing in super heavy cover, most of the time when I flip with this 8-foot flipping stick, this super fast Revo reel, 25-pound fluorocarbon. That's what I'm using, 25 pound, okay? Fluorocarbon line, low stretch, nice and slick, gets off the spool quick, but now, spider wire, love spider wire. They're made by Bergren too. Bergren is a fine sponsor of ours also. And that stuff I use for the heaviest vegetation. When I'm fishing super heavy vegetation, nothing cuts through vegetation like spider wire or a braided line, okay? If I'm flipping mats using real heavy tungsten weights and dipping that into a thick weed mat, you know, it might be a mat that's grown up on the top of a piece of cover and it's hollow like a canopy underneath, and I use that to punch through. A lot of times this line's not going to cut, okay? But that braided line, I can pop that thing, the line's going to cut through and it's going to help me get the fish in the boat. Alright? No stretching that stuff at all.
No, I don't.
There's no forgiveness. Another good reason to use.
You'll cut your hand.